Hey, come see us on tour. I'll be in Davenport, Iowa, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. January 6th subpoenas against Trump aides would be revoked under this new bill.
Oh, so they're still young and beautiful.
Yeah. The resolution rescinds subpoenas against Steve Bannon, Dan Scavino, Peter Navarro, and Mark Meadows.
Can I fat shame Steve Bannon's face? Let me ask you that.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Why?
Oh, my. This is such terrible news. This is the end of democracy, Kurt.
Yeah.
It's almost like the entire thing was just a production and it flopped like a Pop-Tart movie.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't care less about January 6th as each day goes by. I care more about the Chinese spy balloon attack.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't care about that.
There is a new House GOP-led effort to revoke subpoenas that the House Select Committee on January 6th sent to key aides of former President Trump. Representative Andy Biggs, Thomas Massie, Eric Burlison introduced a resolution on Tuesday to rescind subpoenas that the now-defunct committee sent to Steve Bannon, Mark Meadows, Peter Navarro, and Dan Scavino. It would also withdraw the contempt of Congress resolutions filed against each individual over his defiance of those subpoenas.
Okay.
The committee was used as a political weapon with a singular focus on taking down Trump and his advisors through the intentional manipulation of facts and the silencing of the minority party, Burlison said on Twitter. The subpoenas issued by the illegitimate committee for Bannon, Navarro, Scavino, and Meadows were insufficient and should be rescinded, and the contempt of Congress referrals based on those subpoenas should be withdrawn. You know, at this rate, the court's going to have to refund Alex Jones all his money. Massie wrote on Twitter, "Time is of the essence. Speaker Johnson should immediately bring this resolution to the floor for a vote." As of Wednesday, the GOP legislation had 22 additional co-sponsors beyond the 3 lawmakers supporting it. So Bannon, Trump's former strategic advisor, and Navarro, his former trade advisor, were both sentenced to 4 months in prison in cases stemming from their contempt referrals by Congress. The Department of... Could you imagine if they put Barack Obama's... This is unbelievable.
I mean, I can, and De Niro can, Behar can. We're upset about it.
The Department of Justice did not prosecute Meadows or Scavino. Pelosi established the Select Committee in mid-2021 in response to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol when the former president's supporters stormed the building in protest of his election loss to President Biden.
The Feds supported Trump that much that they... Because that was all Feds.
I agree. Pelosi established a select committee, really, and you should be grateful Nancy Pelosi took precious time away from monitoring her stock trading numbers to even bother with this. An initial vote to create a 9/11 style commission to investigate the riot passed the House with 35 Republicans and all the Democrats, but it died in the Senate. A 9/11 style commission, not the January 6th. The House subsequently voted to create a select committee with just 2 GOP votes, which granted Pelosi full power of appointments in consultation with Republicans.
Sounds fair. Sounds fair. And Cheney's repulsive daughter will be heading that up? Yeah.
GOP's critics of the panel have used that fight as evidence of the committee being a partisan exercise, you think? Including Pelosi's rejection of 2 Trump-allied Republicans that were nominated by then-Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. One of those allies, Representative Jim Banks from Indiana, is one of the co-sponsors of Burlison's resolution. So here's their 5-page resolution to rescind the subpoenas issued for Bannon. Thomas Massie... And here it is. It says the committee on September 23rd, 2021, October 6th, 2021, and February 9th, 2022, they're about to rescind the subpoenas issued by them on those dates. Whereas June 30th, 2021, Representative Nancy Pelosi, then Speaker of the House of Representatives, established the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack. Whereas the Select Committee was deficient in its composition, as House Resolution 503, the resolution establishing the committee, stated, the Speaker shall appoint 13 members to the Select Committee, 5 of whom shall be appointed after consultation with the minority leader. Whereas Speaker Pelosi refused to seat Republican members named by the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, to the Select Committee, resulting in a solely partisan exercise determined to vilify President Trump and his advisors for the January 6th breach of the Capitol.
Wow.
I didn't know this.
Well, this is like, it was more of a TV production than a real thing.
Well, it was. We've covered that, but I didn't know that she didn't go along with the resolution to have Kevin McCarthy get to pick some people on the committee too. Whereas Speaker Pelosi refused the selections of Minority Leader McCarthy and named only Representative Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger to the Select Committee, leaving the committee with 9 members rather than the required 13.
Oh, that's breaking Illuminati rules.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Whereas Select Committee held hearings, issued subpoenas, and published a flawed report without the number of members required by House Resolution 503. Whereas shortly before hearings began, the Select Committee named Representative Cheney as vice chair and operated without a ranking minority member. The position of vice chair is distinct and different from a ranking minority member, as clearly understood by House rules, conference and caucus rules, and precedent. Resolution 503 specifically required the chair of the Select Committee to consult with the ranking minority member in certain circumstances. Resolution 503 included the requirement that the chair of the Select Committee could only issue a subpoena upon consultation with the ranking minority member. I didn't know any of this. Whereas House Democrats failed to draft and pass House Resolution 503 in a manner giving the Select Committee chair unilateral authority to issue subpoenas, thereby rendering all subpoenas issued by the Select Committee legally insufficient. So they didn't amend the House resolution to make those subpoenas legal. Where Representative Benny Thompson, then chair of the Select Committee, failed to ensure the preservation of all documents from the Select Committee as is required by House rules, and including documents, transcripts of witness interviews, and video recordings of the interviews. The Select Committee promoted numerous theories without first verifying the veracity of the allegations by interviewing witnesses with actual first-hand knowledge of the allegation. We saw that happen. The Select Committee was a partisan exercise. From the beginning, and its hearings and final report are tainted by the unprecedented partisan decisions made by Speaker Pelosi.
I remember I had a friend who was like, well, I mean, Liz Cheney is showing a lot of integrity.
Yeah.
I go,
like somehow she's going against her party. She's doing what the establishment wanted.
I remember a person who told me, I was like, oh, you don't actually know anything about it.
No.
Oh, I was shocked, genuinely shocked. Somebody I like a lot.
The January 6th committee presented uncorroborated evidence that fit its narrative with the intent of disgracing President Trump, his advisors, and supporters in an effort to influence future elections. Members of the January 6th committee withheld and destroyed information that would have provided evidence that former President Donald Trump did not engage in an insurrection, and the imprisonment of Peter Navarro and the impending imprisonment of Steve Bannon represents an unprecedented attempt to silence and marginalize political opponents. So that's what their resolution says. I didn't know how corrupt the January 6th committee was until this. I knew it was all a show trial, which I've been saying since the beginning.
I mean, that's pretty corrupt already.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't think they were so corrupt that it wouldn't stand at all.
It wouldn't stand at all.
Like, I thought they were at least corrupt where their thing would work out a little bit for them. But none of it's working out. I think they were just like, we'll do this and then we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Now we're going to see how many never-Trumpers are in the Congress in the Republican Party. Because if on a straight vote, this would pass. Now we got to see if Mike Johnson will even bring it up.
Yeah, we'll know who's in the neocon.
So now we'll see.
World order bullshit.
We'll see who's in the neocon world order bullshit. That's it, because that's what January 6th was. I mean, the prosecution of those people. It's the neocons trying to grab control of the narrative so they can go on with their neocon warmongering.
That scumfuck Bill Kristol, he's a big part of that.
Yes.
Yeah. What a scumbag.
Hey, come see us on tour. I'll be in Davenport, Iowa, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.